Welcome to, excuse me, Karen, where we're going to talk about all of our Karen stories. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy.
Welcome to episode 2 of our podcast. Excuse me, Karen.
If you heard our first episode and liked it, welcome back. If you're new, I don't know what the fuck you were waiting for, but welcome to the shit show.
Woo!
For legal reasons, all the names of individuals and businesses have been changed to protect those who have been mentioned, so we don't get sued.
So in our first episode, we compared like the male equivalent of a Karen to like a Chad, a Kyle, a Terry, and I have one friend named Chad. And he was not happy that we used his name in vain as a male Karen. So I just want to say, Chad, I'm really sorry, but I'm not. But I am.
Psych.
Right? And that's it. Also, we're not, like, if we say, like, Chad or Karen, whatever, we don't actually mean you or people that we know. It's just all in the fun of the podcast.
It's just there's so many dude names, and someone we know is gonna have it. Okay.
Exactly.
Sorry. We can make up names, but we're not that creative. The podcast is as creative as we get. Like, sorry, bro.
Right.
That's all you're gonna get from us.
Sorry, but not fully sorry, just a little bit sorry.
Lauren, you have to tell them the story. You have to tell them the story about your niece and nephew.
Dude.
Because it's got me dead.
But, all right, you guys. So, the other day, I was watching my niece and nephew. My niece is like 7. My nephew is about to be 10. And we're just like sitting there hanging out, and my niece was being kind of a little bratty, and my nephew he just goes, Grace, you're being like a Karen right now. And I looked at him and I was like, wait, what did you just call her? And he's like, a Karen. And I was like, where did you hear that? He's like, TikTok. And I felt like we're all laughing. And so I asked Grace, my niece, if she calls him like a Kyle or, some name. And she just goes, no, I just call him Chubby, and walks away. Like a true Karen.
Oh, God. I don't know if we should teach her that the way of the Karen is wrong, or if we should just like let her keep this sass because it'll take her places in life.
I'm gonna let her ride this sass out because it's gonna take her place.
I mean, we don't know if it's up the chain to CEO or to prison, but it's gonna go somewhere.
Right. It's gonna take her one or the other.
Today's Karen tale is the time I made a grown woman cry.
Okay.
Let's start with a little backstory. After a few years in the pharmacy, I had to leave. One of the techs was the worst Karen I've ever met, and I could not take it anymore. I was a 20-something-year-old being harassed by a 50, 60-year-old woman daily. Like, I could not take it. So I went to management and I was like, hey, can you transfer me anywhere else in the store? Like, I need to leave. They're like, okay, let's see where there's openings there. I mean, you can stock shelves. And I'm like, no. They're like, you can work checkout. And I'm like, ugh, hell no. And I was like, thank you, but no, thank you. I'll wait till there's something else. So a few weeks go by and management comes to me and they're like, hey, we have an opening at service desk. And I'm like, okay, I mean, it's not stocking shelves. Thank God. It's not checkout. That's fine. I'm here for it. But at service desk, instead of doing all of that, you have to deal with returns and exchanges, and people can come in and pay their bills, and people also send money. And you know how we use like PayPal, Cash App, Venmo? You can
Yeah.
send money on Facebook Messenger and shit.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of older people, they don't know how to use that, and they refuse to learn because they think like
The
that they're going to get,
government.
yeah, the government's going to get my information. I'm like, okay, bitch, you have a driver's license? You have a driver's license? Yeah. They already have your information.
Exactly.
You get mail sent to your house? Oh my God, they know where you live. Like, are you dumb? Whatever. So then, so they would send money through like Western Union or MoneyGram, where you have to go to the store and send the money, and you have to fill out paperwork and stuff. So one day this lady comes in. I'm like, hi, how can I help you? And she's like, I need to send money to someone. Okay, ma'am, please fill out this paperwork. I just need the person's full name, date of birth, and address shown on their ID. This makes it so only that person can pick up the money. They have to show their ID, and everything has to match, or the money will be sent back.
Effective.
And right, about like 90% of the time, people are being scammed. I'm not even joking. Like every
Right.
single story I have about this, I've so many stories of this, of people getting scammed, and like they're sending money to scammers majority of the time, and they'd rather like send this money to a random person in Uzbekistan, catfishing them, than deal with the truth that they're being scammed. They don't care. I have
Poor
so many
soul.
stories of this. Well, so this lady fills out the paper and she comes back to my computer, and I have to put her ID information in because the person on the other end has to have this lady's information. And like they have to show their ID, and they're like, okay, I'm picking up money from Sarah Johnson and from, I don't know, Colorado or something. And it has to match like what it says. So I'm starting to put her information in, and I'm like, you got to ask questions to make sure like that they know who they're sending money to so they don't get scammed. So I'm talking to her and I'm like, oh, so who are we sending money to today? And she's like, oh, well, my fiance's tour bus broke down and he asked me to send money so they can get back on the road. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's on tour. So like a sightseeing tour, a booze cruise. Like, what are we doing?
Right.
And she goes,
Oh.
oh, no, he's a musician. Now, I love music, old, new, rap, hip hop, pop,
All of it.
R&B, country. Yes. Lauren and I love music. So
Yes.
I'm like, hell yeah, bitch. Like, oh my God. Like, who is he? Would I know him? And this bitch, Lauren,
I'm ready, dude.
this bitch tells me that her fiance is Tim fucking McGraw.
Oh,
And I just like,
stop,
I look at her and I'm like, what?
bitch. You're not Faith Hill.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, Faith Hill. Since when do you look like Miss Crabtree from South Park? Like, fuck.
This poor lady.
So I'm like, oh, he's married, right? And she's like, oh, he's leaving her after this tour, and then
No
he's gonna file for
way.
divorce, and we're gonna get married. And at this point, I'm just like, oh my God, this bitch is dumb. You are dumb.
Ugh.
And I know she's being scammed at this point because Tim McGraw
Right.
would not be marrying Miss Crabtree from South Park, smelling like cat
Over
piss.
Faith Hill.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. On most registers, there's certain keys that you hit, and it'll call the supervisor over. So I like discreetly like hit these 3 keys, like, please come here, please come here. I need a supervisor.
Right.
So I hit those buttons because I know the moment I tell her, like, yeah, you're not marrying Tim McGraw. She's
She's
gonna,
gonna freak.
yeah, she's gonna like blow up and start yelling at me, and I was not about it.
Right.
So I look at the name on the paper she gives me, and I'm like, if your fiance is Tim McGraw, why are you sending money to Brad Williams?
Oh
Oh,
God.
that's his manager. Tim can't go to the store to get the money himself because he's so famous. So I had to send it to his manager, and he's going to pick it up and pay to get the bus fixed. And I'm like, cool,
Oh my
cool,
God.
cool,
You
cool,
know,
cool,
you
cool,
know
cool,
what?
cool.
Hold on. These scammers are like they just have everything figured out, every excuse, everything. That is so crazy.
Listen, I,
And
I,
she's believing it all.
I know. I feel bad, but at this,
But at the same time, it's like, come on.
yeah, like okay. Common sense tells me that Tim McGraw is not going to leave Faith Hill, who is fucking gorgeous,
Right.
for a South Park character.
Literally.
So
In the Midwest.
yeah, in the Midwest, smelling like cat piss in the middle of a store. Like, I wish I could buy common sense and just start handing it out to people. Like, here, you need it more than I do. Like, fuck.
The world would be a better place.
Honestly, like if common sense came on tap, bitch,
Girl, game over.
we need to figure out how to like make common sense, bottle it, and sell it.
We would be the richest motherfuckers.
Yeah, fucking Elon Musk, who?
Right? Jeff Bezos, who?
Dogecoin?
Right. Yes.
Okay. So I'm like, okay, where were we? Oh yeah, the manager's getting the money so they can fix the bus, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that totally makes sense. But like, isn't Tim McGraw rich? Like, I Google searched this
Right.
yesterday, and Tim McGraw's net worth is $165 million.
Oh God.
I don't think he needs $5,000 from
$5,000 from this lady.
$5,000, five fucking grand she wanted to send from some bitch in the Midwest, who I would like to repeat again because I feel like it hasn't been said enough. Smelled like cat piss.
That's
Like,
his fave scent.
I just threw the fuck up in my mouth a little bit. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But like, Tim McGraw will like have like, you know how they have like stacks of 20s like wrapped up like a bundle?
Yeah.
He wipes his ass with that and catches it on fire. Like, he doesn't need $5,000.
Yeah. He doesn't need absolutely anything from this lady and from the Midwest.
Right. So I'm like, yeah, no, I like, he's a multi-millionaire. Like, I don't think he needs you to he doesn't need you to send him money. And she's like, listen, just send the fucking money. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Here we go.
Throwing out swear words now. So I'm like, me knowing that she's being scammed, I'm like, well, unfortunately today I cannot send this money for you. And she just like looks at me, and like you see the like evilness like glint in her eye, and she's like,
Ugh.
why can't you send that money? He's stranded on the freeway in the middle of nowhere. He needs this money. And I'm like, ma'am, if he's stranded in the middle of the freeway, how are they supposed to go get the money anyways? Like, he's stranded in the middle of the freeway. Tim McGraw's not going to walk.
God.
I doubt his manager's going to walk, because he makes bank too. He's Tim McGraw's manager.
Right.
I'm sure he's other people's managers too. Like, the fuck?
The fuck?
So, whatever. And she's like, you can't deny me sending money to my fiance. He's in danger. He can't stay there. And then she does my favorite thing. It's honestly the best. She goes, call your manager. Bitch, I'm 2 steps ahead of you. I called
Right. Already
her.
did, bitch.
Yeah.
Right.
So I let her know that I called them over already on my register and I'm waiting for them to show up. And she just stands there like all but hurt because she probably told everyone in her life, like everyone that she's ever met, yeah, I'm engaged to Tim McGraw.
Ugh.
He's my
Just
future
like
husband.
bragging.
Yeah. And not a single person told her, like, hey, bitch, you're a fucking dumbass. You're not engaged to Tim McGraw.
Right.
So as we're standing there and it's like awkward as fuck and she's just glaring at me, she's like, she tells me, she's like, you're heartless. He could be hurt. I was like, I can't in good conscience send this money. Like, you're being scammed. I was like, Tim McGraw does not need your money. He would never ask you for money. And if he was to cheat on his wife, Faith Hill, the queen, I highly doubt it would be some random ass middle-aged woman from the Midwest that, again, smells like cat piss.
It's her perfume.
Yeah, like the aroma, the musk, if you must.
Ugh.
So,
Ugh.
listen, I get to stand there for like a half an hour and smell it. You can sit here and listen to like 15, 20 minutes of
Fine.
me talking about it.
I guess.
So my supervisor shows up and is like, she's like, hey, like, what's going on? And I'm like, this lady wants to send money to her fiance, Tim McGraw. And she looks at me and she goes, what? And I'm like,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
And the lady goes to my supervisor, we're gonna call her Doreen. And she's like, yeah, my fiance, Tim McGraw, he's a big country star and his tour bus broke down in the middle of the freeway and he could be in danger.
Oh my God.
And I have to send $5,000 to his manager so they can get it fixed. And he could be dead right now. And this fat bitch, she just won't send the money. And I'm just like,
oh my.
listen.
How did you keep a straight
I
face?
did, and I was laughing. You could.
Ugh.
I'm just sitting there like, you know that meme where it's like the guy and he's like trying to do math and he like does that weird little smile thing.
Yes.
That was me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, and I'm like laughing. I'm like, okay. My supervisor.
For sure.
My supervisor's like, ma'am, calm down. You're being scammed. And the lady she goes, and she's like, we won't be sending the money for you. I suggest you call the police office. And
yeah,
you tell them that you're being scammed and you have the person's name and address. And they can contact the local police office where that guy, like the other person is, and they can hopefully catch this guy. This lady walks over to like the little side wall and she's just like on the phone and like I presume she like called Tim McGraw to let him know that this fat bitch from the store won't send the money. So she just stands there and cries for a few minutes and she's like comes back, says she's never coming back to the store again and Tim will never be shopping at our store again. And I'm like, ma'am, our store is known as like one of the trashiest stores in the United States. Like, I highly doubt he ever stepped foot in one, but okay. And she's like, I'm going next door and I'm going to send it next door. And next door was, I think it's like a Midwest store. It's a store that often people from the Midwest throw an S at the end of it and it's not needed. I'm sure you're picking up what I'm putting down. So apparently she went over there and sent the money. So it was either the next day or the day after, within a couple of days, she comes back and she is pissed because we did not stop her from going to that store with an S, that we throw an S at the end of it. And she sent Tim McGraw $5,000. But only she found out that it wasn't Tim McGraw. And she was being catfished. And
But their love is real.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I distinctly remember going on and on for a half an hour that Tim McGraw don't need your money, and you were being scammed, and you chose not to believe me. We told you to call the police department, and you did not. I'm out $5,000 of my life savings because you didn't stop. I'm sorry. You're a grown-ass woman. You need me to stop you?
Right.
I did stop you. I stopped you, and you took your nasty ass next door and was like, fuck that fat bitch. I'm gonna send $5,000 to some random ass dude who stopped talking to you after he got the money. Because Tim McGraw don't want no bitch that smells like cat piss. So you can get the fuck on. Fucking exactly. Like, to this day, like, I think if I like smell cat piss, I think of her.
Ugh. It's just embedded now.
It is like, it's like a scent memory.
Flashback.
Yeah, it's like, ugh. But yeah, she came back to the store, threw a fit.
The nerve that she had to come back to the store to blame y'all is also what's getting me.
Listen, the audacity of this bitch. First, she comes in here smelling like cat piss. Then she sits there. Yeah, I'm marrying Tim McGraw. Okay, no.
His buzz broke down.
Yeah. And then she sends somebody $5,000. I sit here making like 9 something an hour, getting harassed by Miss Crabtree and get yelled at for taking a 15-minute break. Like, fuck. The worst.
Never again.
Never again. Now I have my desk job and my podcast. So
woo-hoo.
I moved up in life.
And stocks.
Oh yeah, and my stocks.
Buy Dogecoin, guys.
Dogecoin. Papa Musk says so.
For life.
Doge?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's my story about the time that I made a grown woman cry because I had to break it to her that she, in fact, was not getting married to Tim McGraw.
I feel so bad for this lady, but also not, because, like, fuck this lady for being so stupid.
Right. Okay. I can understand, like, the elderly people, like, elderly that come in and do it because they literally think, like, the IRS calls them and they come in, they have to send money through Western Union or they're going to go to jail. They're scared.
Right.
They're old. They don't know any better. Because, like, when you age, you die.
And they don't know, like, you know, the internet and, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't have all this shit, like scams and people pretending to, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't as in depth, I guess, back then as it is now.
Yeah, they're still posting statuses on Facebook saying, Timmy, text me. Like,
right.
They don't know.
Like, they don't get it.
But this lady was like a little bit older than our mothers, and
your mom.
Yeah, my mom. Sorry, my mom's younger than your mom.
Yeah, it's okay. yeah, guys. My parents are pretty old, so
no, this lady was like probably around your mom's age.
Okay.
So she's like,
then I mean, it's believable then, yeah, that she would think that. But still, like, common sense should, like, kick in at some point. Like, hey, Tim McGraw is this he like one of the biggest country singers in the United States, maybe the world. I don't fucking know. And he
I'm gonna
wants
Google it.
this lady from the Midwest. Like something has to like click. You know what I mean? And like it just didn't for this lady, but like why didn't it click? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm Googling the biggest country stars in the world right now, and I want to see
Okay.
what Google says
He's definitely
is.
on there.
Yeah, I need to know who's in the top
Who's the
10.
biggest?
Oh my God, it's just showing me pictures. I don't know who these people. I know who some. Oh hey, sorry. I know
Oh,
who
hey.
them jeans were so tight.
Super tight.
I don't like. Okay, I don't know who some of these people are. I need like a name. Oh look, hey look, there's Faith Hill.
Hey, homegirl.
Let me see if I can find like a list. Oh, number 1 is George Strait. Oh
Okay.
shit. Sorry to Tim McGraw, but you are not in the top 8. You did not make the
cut.
Yeah, you did not make the cut for our MySpace top 8. Sorry, homie. But let's
Okay,
see what
we'll
the
just
Billboard.
say he's a very well-known, higher up country singer.
Oh shit, he did not. Now I need to know where he's at. Like, where are you, Tim McGraw? Because he is not in the top 10. Number 1 is Luke
Wow.
Combs, which okay, I understand. I love me my big boys. Hey.
Right. Hey.
Morgan Wallen, even though he said the N-word.
Right.
Kane Brown, okay, is
Who got lost in his own backyard.
Let's see. Blah blah blah. Don't care. Luke Bryan is number 11. That's such a shame with his tight jeans. Ooh, Chris Stapleton is 18. Lee Bryce is 19. Tim McGraw is 21 out of how many? Oh, out of the 50. So he's not.
I mean, at least he's on there.
Yeah, at least he made it. I'm trying to see if Faith Hill's on here. I don't know. Does Faith Hill still make music?
I'm not entirely sure. I don't think so.
I don't know.
But like, don't quote me.
Now I'm going through this list like, okay, I don't know who these people are. But yeah, so he's like on the top 50 of the Billboard chart. Again, he is not going to get with some woman from the Midwest who smells like cat piss and looks like Miss Crabtree. I can't.
Exactly.
Oh,
never. He probably wouldn't even like let her have a meet and greet.
Okay, I am all Tim McGraw and Miss Crabtree out. Please, Lauren, save my sanity and tell me your Karen tale. Thank you.
I got you.
Oh.
You're welcome. So, my Karen tale this episode is going to be about the time that I almost had to fight a customer.
Ooh, tell me more.
Ooh. All right. So, a little bit of context to use later in the story. It was the beginning of 2020, like before the big lockdown happened. So like at work, like we had to wear masks and gloves, and like the guests had to wear masks for like PPE. So I just want to get that out there for later in the story. It'll come in handy. So this Karen wasn't even my table. Like she wasn't my Karen, I guess, at first. It was this so it was this girl that I work with. She's always super nice, lovely. She's younger, and we were splitting, like our section got split in half. So like I took, one side, she took the other side. So I can hear, like, she can hear everything that's going on in my section. I can hear everything that's going on in hers, whatever. So a group of teenagers walk in, they get seated at her, like one
Okay.
of her tables. All girls, all extremely
Already sounds like
terrifying.
a fucking nightmare.
Right? So they were already being like rude, like snotty, just bitchy, like already being Karens from the minute that they sat down in her section. And right. And so they got like, I think it was pizzas, and we were so busy. Like we were slammed and we had a line out the door. So it's not like it was just that like this specific table that their food was, took longer than normal. It was literally everybody in the restaurant. Their orders were being delayed because we were so slammed, and
Damn.
takeout was slammed. Right? So they started being rude, blah, blah, blah. She walks away, and like, I walk over to her and I'm like, hey, you all right? Because they were like yelling at her and like cussing her
Why
out and all this
though?
stuff. And she was right, because their food was late. And literally that's it.
And they got a
Just
pizza,
because their
right?
food was late.
Bitch, if you want your pizza
Right.
super fast, Little Caesars is down the road, bitch. Get you a hot and ready. They cost $5.
Literally.
Like,
Mhm.
fuck you.
So, exactly. So she like, came over and talked to me, and then she like went in the back and like cried for a minute. Came out, she was good. And they just started like, let me backtrack a little bit. She brought out like a box and like their bill and stuff, and they just start like cussing her out, saying she's like a fat bitch, the worst server, just all the normal Karen stuff to say, but like from a terrifying group
I
of
fucking
teenagers.
hate teenagers.
I know, like I'm stressed just retelling this story. So they finally leave the building, but God forbid they did not leave the parking lot.
Okay.
So a little extra context so you guys can get a visual. Our server station is shared with takeout, so it's right next to like the bathroom and the hallway where the side door for takeout is. So they walk in the side, they like pass the bathrooms, and then it's takeout in the server station. So they come storming through like the group of girls, literally like all of them come storming through the takeout door, demanding to speak to the server they just had. And so like she confronted, like not confronted, but she walked over to him and was like, what do you guys want? You already paid, blah, blah, blah. And the server was like standing her ground to these girls because she did literally nothing fucking wrong to these girls. Right. So then they started getting really loud and like petty and heated. And I could see that the server was like about to get really upset. So like, the older cis vibe in me stepped in, and I was like, I told the girls like, hey, you guys already got what you came for. You paid. You guys have to leave. There's a full house right now. Leave. They refuse. On our every door there at the restaurant, we have the signs that say, before you enter the building, please put your mask on. You have to have it in order to enter the building. So I noticed that they weren't wearing their fucking masks. So I was like, well, our door clearly states that you need to be wearing a mask in this building, which you're clearly not doing. So please leave before we have to escort you out and embarrass you while doing it. because everyone was staring at us. Seriously, like it's a huge ass, like a huge ass restaurant. Everybody's just staring at us. And all the like all the rest of the other servers are, you know, standing like at the server seat or close to it so they can hear what's going on, you know? And so the main teenage Karen, whatever, she starts getting loud again. She starts saying that she wants to fight us all this shit, cussing us out. You know the drill. So I just keep telling her to put on her mask or she's not talking to anybody. And so she just whips her mask out of her pocket, puts it on. She's like, "Are you fucking happy? Like, now let me talk to a manager, blah, blah, blah." So, you know, I was like, "All right, you have your mask on." So I asked like one of the other servers I was seeing there, I was like, "Hey, can you go get a manager?" Because I didn't want to leave because this girl, you know, like I'm still in between this girl and the server, or the girls and the server. And so the manager comes out and sees everybody like standing around and like these girls and like all the yelling coming from the girls. And he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" I'm like, "Dude, like you need to talk to this group of girls. Like, get them the fuck out of here." And they're yelling and they're saying like that they're also servers. And if this ever happened at their restaurant, they'd be fired. So somebody needs to be fired right now. And she's demanding like that the server and like
but like
all of us
what
get
did
fired.
the server do? Give her
like
food like when it was ready? Sorry.
Exactly. And it's funny because she even like let them know, like, because our pizza guy, like the two pizza people were like, "Hey, it's Super Slam. Just let your tables know it's going to be like a little delayed." So she even went over there and told them that it was going to be like a little delayed. And they're like, eye roll, you know, like they were just
like I said,
like
if you want
the
your
worst.
pizza quick, Little Caesars. Fucking dumb.
Exactly. So I know. So whatever, they're demanding that people get fired, blah blah blah. So the manager finally makes them leave, and they finally do, and they leave the parking lot. And like we like made sure that they left the parking lot because like I don't know if it happens at your restaurant or anything, but like when people are that mad, we're always like, okay, we got to make sure that they leave, because if they don't, then they're gonna like wait for you know, that person to get out, blah, blah, you know what I mean? So we make sure that they leave, and nothing happened to the server. She didn't get in trouble or anything because she did nothing wrong. It was just a bunch of hormonal teenagers wanting to fight for absolutely no reason, per usual. And that's my
Let me
Karen
tell
tale
you how the
for this
whole time
episode.
you're telling the story, all that's going through my head is My Chemical Romance. Teenagers scare the living shit out of me.
The living shit out of me. Oh, heck yeah. Dude, that song was playing in my head as this was going down. Because they are so terrifying.
I don't understand how like, oh my god, I'm gonna sound so old. But teenagers like these days are so bad. Like we were not like that when we were that age. We like, okay, do you remember in high school? I was a senior, you were a freshman, and we would have late starts on Wednesday. And then every Wednesday we would go out to breakfast. We would go to like Denny's or Big Boys, occasionally Burger King, all depends which, oh my god. Fucking Burger King breakfast. I have a whole ass story on that, which we will probably, it's not a Karen story, but like it's a funny fucking story, and we will do it as maybe like a bonus episode someday, maybe on Patreon or something. I don't know. I don't know if you remember the story, because like after we get to school, I don't see you guys again until after school, because again, you were a freshman. You were not on my level.
Right.
I didn't know who you were.
Okay, calm down. Oh my god.
But like we would go out to breakfast and we would like I don't even know. We were always like so nice to everyone. Like, hey, like thank you so much. We would all throw in on a tip, so we would
Yeah.
get like $50 worth of food and leave like a $30 tip. So like,
Right.
yeah,
Because everyone would throw
because
in,
we
like
know,
we
like,
weren't.
yeah, we're rowdy teenagers, but we're like polite. And like people that know us when we were teenagers, we were the fucking worst. We were the bad
Oh,
kids, like
absolutely.
getting into fist fights and
See,
I know,
teenagers
but
are
like okay, we
terrifying
didn't
for
do
no
this to
reason.
adults, but like
Like,
we got into okay, hold on.
no, we didn't.
I mean, I didn't get into a fist fight with an adult, but I threatened some. Well, that's my next week's
Okay.
story, which I have already like jotted down, like an outline.
Mm,
It's me and my senior
okay.
year, and something to do with an adult. You'll have to stay tuned to listen to it, but it's funny. But
Okay.
but we never like we want you to get fired. You're such a fat bitch. But I'm
Why?
always a good tipper. Like I always tip. You know this. Like I went to
Yeah.
what is it, Applebee's,
Yeah.
where they have like the dollar drinks. And I got like I don't
Yup,
know, ten
yup.
dollars worth of drinks or whatever. Because I was like, I'm looking to get fucked up on cheap alcohol. Uh and you only go there for the alcohol because the food
Right.
sucks. So sorry, Applebee's. Your food is disgusting. But like I
Of
will drink your dollar margaritas and whatever else you have for yeah. So I get
the
$10
low.
worth of drinks and this lady brings me my bill and I'm like, I'm handing her $40 and she's like, no, why? No. And I'm like, no, you were great. You were great. Take the money. Yeah, she's like, no, but your bill's only ten
Take my
dollars. And I'm like,
money.
but good drinks are for a lifetime. And I'm just like trying to give her this money and she would not take it. And I was like,
Yes.
okay. So I'm like arguing with
Please.
her, like, take the money, bitch. She finally takes the money. And then, like, my friend's like, okay, we need to go because you are fucking drunk. Yeah. Do I regret
You're wasted.
giving this bitch $30 on a $10 thing? No, because she was fucking great. She dealt with me. I was like requesting songs at an Applebee's and their playlist was like lit that night. I was like, oh my God, is this Bohemian Rhapsody? Oh my God, are they playing Pop Lock and Drop It in an Applebee's? Are we about to get up and dance?
Hell yeah. Moral of the
Moral of the story.
story is get Lacie drunk and she'll tip you
I
and give you all
mean,
her money.
I'm gonna keep my comment to myself on that one.
All right, so for this episode, who do you think your Ballin' Betty is?
There's only one person it could be, Stan, and that is me. My name is
Hey,
Lacie, but you can call me Betty
hey,
because I tried to warn her. I let her know, like, hey, you're being scammed. She chose not to listen to that advice and lost $5,000.
A
I
for
also,
effort.
right, I tried so hard without calling her dumb to her face. Like, but I also want to put in my supervisor that I call Doreen.
Hmm.
She to this day is a badass bitch. She still works there as far as I'm aware. And when I
Shout
go
out.
there, yeah, shout out to who I'm calling Doreen. You are the baddest bitch at that store. Thank you for being the best supervisor.
But
Who was your baller Betty?
so I'm gonna say me as well
Oh,
because,
twinning.
right? Because I stopped these two girls from fighting. So,
Yeah,
me,
true. You saved a life.
I did my best.
They, I don't know who this girl is, but like, yeah, no, it would have been like that one bitch and like all her friends on this one girl. So,
Right. So
hell
I,
yeah. Yes, we stan a Lauren.
yeah.
So before we end this episode, we do want to say that we have dubbed this year the year of the Cardi because bitch, we making money moves.
Yeah.
I'm Cardi B, obviously. Lauren is Megan Thee Stallion.
Yep.
And this podcast is our WAP, our wild
Wild
ass
ass
podcast.
podcast.
Yes. So continue listening.
Also, we did just order new mics, so better quality content coming soon.
Yeah. To a podcast near you.
Right.
From us.
From us.
Sorry.
Remember, in a world full of Karens, be a fucking Betty.
Bye.
Bye, guys. I'm Gucci.
I'm Maine.
That was awesome.
It took you a second.
It did.
That is like the best blooper we have so far.
Thanks for listening, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and follow to keep up with us and our Karen tales. We love to hear Karen stories. If you want us to read your Karen story on our podcast, email them to us. It's in our bio, or follow us and DM them to our Insta. It's at Karen. All right. Hope to hear from you guys. Love y'all.